So yeah, I just wanted to touch base tonight. There's been some things that have transpired over the last 3 or 4 days, and I just wanted to kind of chat about some of it a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is some of us would call this the industry. I would call it a movement. Um, this movement, I got into this because I was going through a bankruptcy, and there's just something that didn't make sense to me about the whole thing. And I was dealing with US trustees and IRS and lawyers. I had a lawyer I paid $20,000 to represent me, and he like didn't do shit for me. And I just like I didn't understand this, and I started to like watch some of these videos on YouTube. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've been one of the, I'm a veteran, and I got out in 1993. And after 9/11, like I've been like knee deep in all this stuff, and I never even knew about this trust law, SPC, any of that. So um any of you that don't know, a little background about me: I've been in business over 30 years. Most of my business has been in contract law, whether I've been selling construction projects or doing projects with the federal government. I have a security company that I work closely with: ATF, FBI, um, now apparently the IRS. And um, in this movement, in all these movements, the veterans movement, the firearm movement, every single kind of movement that you can, whether it be Oath Keepers or, any of the other organizations that are trying to, be, pro-American. The issue always comes into play where you have people that are trying to do the same thing. And then once they get into a specific organization or a specific anything, then they tend to, um, jealousy tends to start to like creep in, and, different things seem to happen. Not everybody in this movement is your friend. And a lot of them will appear to be your friend, but they're not. And what I see happening quite often is either you're dealing with an agent, right? So you got that person attacking you for whatever the reason, or you're dealing with somebody that got cornered by an agent, maybe put into some sort of situation where they are having to collect evidence or whatever for one of the alphabet organizations, or you have somebody that's jealous that you are doing something or figuring something out. This stuff that I promote, the things that I do, um, are because of things I figured out. Now, I'm not going to say that the information isn't available on the internet, okay, because it is. You can watch a multitude of videos, buy a multitude of documents, and you can get the same information. But what you are investing in, what you are partaking in when you are in my groups or you're around me, is the process that I've figured out. I have used my spiritual condition, which I have been pretty much really absorbing over the last 15 years. I have 23 years in the program, as in no drugs and alcohol. And then that led me to spirituality and, a multitude of different things. So I often ask for wisdom. I ask God to show me what I'm supposed to be doing. um, in this movement, I started to gather all this information, and there was a lot of people not putting proper information out. So I decided that I was going to create something that had somewhat of a streamlined system where people could learn how to do this fairly simple, and that's what I've done. Um, I've had several people help me out, not kind of as employees, kind of not. Um, Not all of them were here for the right reasons. There was an individual when I first started this that was basically collecting information so she could do her own thing, whatever. I don't care. Like, do your thing. Um, so just getting to, the point here is that I'm just trying to like do my best to help you guys out. I don't necessarily always do the right thing. I'm trying to always do the right thing. I'm trying to do what's good for myself, my family, and my business. Recently, I had an individual helping me, and it got to the point where it was not really moving in the right direction for myself, my family, and my business. And I will always put those things before, people. They call it uh, uh, principles and not personalities in the program, right? So once we get a personality that isn't quite jiving in the direction that I want this thing to go, then I feel like I have to remove that individual or a group of individuals. Sometimes it's a bunch of people. I mean, sometimes I have to like throw 5 people out of the group, and so I just wanted to touch on this briefly so that you guys all understand that everything I do, I'm doing for the safety of you guys and the safety of this group so that we can keep teaching and learning and creating an environment where we are more free. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about tonight. There are some new things, new documents, new things that I'm implementing in the SBC process. We have the first round of mentorship program of people taking part in that. And I'm really getting some good response that makes me feel good. And we did some work with some people on court cases, and Robert did a fantastic job, expressed the trust, and he got his court case dismissed. And that happened this week. So a lot of really great things happening. And I just wanted to, personally thank all you guys for being a part of it. And, I really hope that we can continue to do things to move forward. Now I would very much like to open this up to questions and let you guys basically ask anything that you would like. So we got a question from Roz. Go ahead.
Hi, Kent. Firstly, I'd like to say that I appreciate what you're doing because I've, like you said, I've been dealing with other people, and this is the most concise so far, informative, and it's pretty much straightforward. I appreciate that. But the question I have for you is, I'm still in the SPC process. I started this process about 30 years ago, and it was a lot of wrong information. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on back then, so I left it alone, and I'm back again. But at this point, I'm just about finished the SBC process. So what I wanted to know is, how long is the mentorship program? Because I want to be able to be prepared to be ready for it once I'm finished with what I have to do.
So it's going to take, it could take, years to complete. Once you're in it, you stay in it, right? And you stay in the lessons, and the lessons keep coming, and you're in the mentorship group. And then as you figure stuff out, you start helping the other people in the group. And so my plans with the mentorship group is it to be an ongoing environment where people are constantly learning from each other. So
It's very good.
is it, as far as how long as it takes, I mean, you can stay in there as long as you want. If you know, if you go for a while and you want to get out, it's fine. Whatever you guys need for that to be good for you.
Thank you.
Yes. You have a question, Vincent?
No question at this time. I'll come back around with my question.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
I had a good evening. I had a quick question.
Sure.
On the packet that we sent over asks for the registered mail number. I'm trying to figure out what registered mail number that would be. Would that be the one that we mail to ourselves, or the registered mail number that we send to the Treasury?
So all of the documents that have registered mail numbers, you mail to yourself. And then you take those registered documents after you mail to yourself and you send those to the Treasury certified mail because you need the contract. So the green card on the back that you get back from the Treasury is the completion of your contract.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
I had a question on the, I believe it's the certificate of authority you have down there, the FRB rounding numbers, that sort of thing. What does that relate to?
So
I'm
that
not sure.
that correlates with the red number on the back of your social security card. So if you have a red number that starts with a C, then you look up Federal Reserve Bank that correlates with the letter C, and then you're going to see a Federal Reserve Bank routing number. And then that is going to give you your routing number for that account number that's on the back. The red number is a bond number. So it says the C, which is the routing number of the Federal Reserve Bank, and then the number, which is the bond for your Social Security card. Social Security card is a bond, just like the birth certificate is a bond. Okay, that's why the birth certificate has a red number on it too. Okay, so that's what those are for. So when you're doing the paperwork and you get down to that, then you got to look up those numbers and you got to put the numbers in how they correlate.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. All right, go ahead, Betty.
Okay, hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have a question because I've been wanting to pay the $1,500 for you guys to do the paperwork. So with that includes just the paperwork and then I send it off?
The 500 is us doing your paperwork and then you send it. The 1,500 is me sending everything for you.
Oh, okay. So 500 to do the SPC, the whole thing?
Yeah, the 500 I will do your paperwork and then send it to you, and then you have to get it sized and sent in.
Okay, I got
1,500
you.
For 1,500, I do the whole thing for you.
Oh, okay. You send it and everything.
Yes.
Okay. That's because I didn't have it clear. Thank you. So I'm working on that real hard so I can, do that. Thank you so much. That's my question. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Kent, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said I was looking at my birth certificate, and my birth certificate numbers are not red. I'm not going to get too caught up on the on the colors, but does that correlate with anything? Like, do you have to go get your CUSIP numbers after that? Yeah.
No. So the CUSIP number thing is a thing that banks do and courts do and stuff like that. Try not get hung up on CUSIP numbers because it's really not that important. The CUSIP number is different for every single court case. So and every time a bank does a transaction and there's the different CUSIP number, they fall under different laws than we do, right? So your CUSIP number is the registered mail number. So when you mail a document to yourself, that registers it, and that's what a CUSIP is. A CUSIP is just a registration.
Because in one of your videos, you said you right after that you go to Fidelity and look up your bond information.
Yeah, they changed it.
I know they changed it.
They changed it, and I don't know how to do it anymore. And I tell you that I've been doing this, for the last couple of years, and I've never used a CUSIP number.
All right, yeah, because I still got it. I'm kind of like I'm doing different steps at different times. I got my 3 N numbers. Now I got to take my birth certificates. I got it statewide. Now I got to go send it to federal, get it federally certified. And then I'm in the middle of doing the UCC 1 and non-UCC 1. So I'm kind of putting that together in my fee schedule. That's where I'm at. So I'm hopefully, once I put everything together, I don't know how long it's going to take me, but between working full time and doing this at night, it takes a little time put everything together. But hopefully be in your mentor program and learn the rest of how to discharge and everything else. It's going over your videos, very informative, And I didn't know. Oh, that's the other thing. when you sign going forward, how do you sign your name? Like on
Well,
documents?
you have
Like,
to understand what it means to qualify a signature. So, a beneficiary cannot sign over rights to a bank or a court. So if you use a beneficiary signature on there, it works. Sometimes you can use an executor signature on certain things, but you got to research that and you got to learn what it means to qualify a signature. Basically what that means is either you write next to it or you have something typed below it that qualifies your signature.
okay. 'Cause I was reading and listening to your Bond 101, and somebody was talking about write close on the top of your check, which I never knew. And I'm like, wow, you learn something new
Yeah,
every
I don't
day.
know.
Listen,
I
I
haven't dug
never
into
did
that.
that.
Like
Huh?
that was something that Pat talked about, is that like whenever you write a check, it's an open check and then they just keep collecting money on it. But like there's one thing that one thing that Pat used to say is that let's climb this mountain one day at a time.
Right.
It's like there are so many things that we can be doing or not be doing, and it's just like we just got to get through each day and just do your best. You get to 5 o'clock. This is the other thing is when I first started doing this, I was doing this crap like 20 hours a day, right? When you get further into this, right? You just start learning that like I start at 10, I quit at 4, and I'll do these calls and stuff at night, but like that's it, right? I'm just going to do what I can do in a day and then I move on.
Yeah, there's so much information out there, and just reading books. And well, I don't read books. I listen to them in the car when I'm driving to back and forth from work. It just makes it easier. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your time and all your energy and all the information you put out. It's been very helpful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Roz, you got another question?
Yeah. One of the things Pat mentioned was to concentrate on our own business, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I had a question for you in that I happen to be the executor of a family member's estate.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to get an idea from you whether there's something that we can do with that or just leave it alone. Just, handle it the way people usually handle that situation.
Yeah, when you're talking about somebody else's estate, you want to like go by the book. Okay,
Oh.
because when you're a trustee, because that's basically what you're talking about in an estate, a trustee is an executor.
Mhm.
Okay, that means you're the responsible party. So if anything gets screwed up with that estate, it comes back on you.
Okay.
So just do things by the book.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I had a quick question.
Yep.
So seeing if we've already done a UCC one, do we still need to do like a whole harmless clause and like a security agreement?
So the stuff that we did for you is got
Yeah.
all that in there.
Okay,
So
so we should submit that anyway, even if we've done it with UCC one.
yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you not to do something. I'm just saying that if you did my SBC process, those longer documents have all that stuff. There's an indemnity and a POA together.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
already done. And that stuff is in the UCC one. If you want to add stuff, then use the UCC 3.
Okay. And so do we send a copy of our UCC one to Pima County as well? Is that like something that we do? Or
Well, so when you do the filing with Pima County per the instructions that I sent you, it's got the UCC 1 and the non-UCC on there. You send that to Pima County.
okay.
I mean, when I did this, like I didn't have anybody like me telling me how to do it. So I put like 100, I put like 100 pages on the record. And like that's when I condensed this all down because I was like, there's no way that I need 100 documents on the record, And so that's why, I mean, I've got this down to like, I think 10 or 11, but the UCC and the non-UCC is the most important thing you need to send. other than your bond and your you know, the bill of exchange and the cover letter and stuff, which I just changed that cover letter because the other cover letter was an older one and it was talking about some kind of voucher and whatever, and that's just not something I teach. So I got rid of that one and I got a new one in there, and the new one has just got you endorsing your birth certificate and social security number. For you, Shay, it would be the naturalization certificate. So but just
Right, and stuff like that. I'm still waiting. Like, I actually I have to be naturalized first, which like
right.
that interview is pending maybe in the next 2 or 3 months. So should
Yeah.
I just like wait? Like, don't do anything until
Yeah.
then?
I would wait till you get your naturalization certificate.
And send in a
Because I would
certified
make
copy.
sure you put the numbers in the UCC one.
Right. And send in a certified copy, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. No problem.
Ken, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we need like a stamp? We don't send the originals to get to Pima County, right? We keep all the originals. That's what you were saying. Do we get a stamp that says certified originals or a copy of a
You
certified?
send the originals to Pima County and they'll send them back.
Okay,
They'll put them on the record and then send them back.
okay. But when we send, so we keep all the originals. What do we send to Treasury? Is that copies of everything or
When you send to Treasury, it's copies.
copies? And the IRS, we send copies as well?
It's the same. The
It's the same.
Treasury and the IRS is the same. If you send it to the IRS, they send it to the Treasury. If you send it to Treasury, they send it to the IRS.
So we don't have to get a stamp to say that's or a copy of original or anything to put on there.
No.
They don't care as long as they have the numbers on it. And
Yeah, you're just notifying them of what you're doing.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. Any more questions?
Yeah, Ken.
I'm
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have a quick question, Ken. You said that on the it was one of the I think it was the former status something or other. I asked the question before. I think it's the former, it was 3 pages and you said that you changed that. And there's a new cover letter, but there are in fact 3 pages to that because I only had one in the package. Where would I find the revised copies?
Whenever anything is changed, it's put into the Google Drive. If you don't have access to the Google Drive, then you have to like let me know.
I have the Google Drive, but I didn't see that particular
Yeah. You just got to go in there and it says you go into the SBC and you look at Stark cover letter to the Treasury or letter to the Treasury, and it's a 2-page document, and then you just go in there and edit it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Santos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to wait a little bit to get a little off topic. So I know a lot of people are still at, the SPC doing all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, I got that letter today from the overpayment deal, and it's just an unexpected response, and I was thinking about it, and I'm wondering if maybe like because I created this trust, the date was basically December 20th, 2023, when everything was filed and everything went through. And so when I filled out this paperwork, assuming that I had an estate, or assuming that the estate was created, it was for the year 2023, in the month of December. And I'm wondering if it was just so late in the year, there's just nothing got done. There's no credits applied to the account yet. And it just maybe wasn't okay to do it then yet. I don't know what might be your thoughts on that.
I mean, you can call them and you can ask them what it's about. You can also call in and check on your credits and stuff like that, see what the master file and the non-master file says. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do, we're doing blind. So
Yeah, I get that. Here's another question, and I am going to call them because it says on here, and it wasn't anything alarming. It just says, next steps. If you made an error or something, they'll send me a notice explaining whatever, or if there's a condition on your account that doesn't allow my credit to be applied, then they'll send me a notice explaining the condition within 45 days of this notice. If I don't hear from them within 45 days, then I can call their 1-800 number 829-0115. I was going to call them anyway, because I'm in the process of moving. So I'm going to have to update my addresses on everything. So I don't have 45 days. So that would be my excuse to call them. But I figured that's good enough basis to try to reach out to them to get some explanation. Also, for change of address, I would have to file a UCC3, right, to do all that and
Yeah, that's
update
the one you use for a change of address.
change of address.
Yep.
But the UC3, and I also need to update the address with the IRS for all three EINs, correct?
No, do not worry about EINs. Like when you file a tax return, then it gets changed.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know if I needed to let anything officially, send some kind of official notice to the IRS about the address change.
No, there's nothing. I mean, they have a form for that, but when you do your taxes, it automatically changes. So unless you're not gonna unless it's gonna be a year before you do taxes again, then just do it on your taxes.
Okay. All right. I think that was it. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else got anything?
How do we go about buying a vehicle?
That process is taught in the mentor program. So we do teach the home purchase and vehicle purchase, but I don't put that out publicly because once the IRS starts seeing that put out publicly, they change it. So I do that in a mentor program because it's put out there private, in the private.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, no
So
problem.
for clarification, once any of us finish the SBC process, we can just apply for the mentorship program, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm working on the ebook, the IRS forms. Is that going to be explained in the mentorship programs shortly?
Yeah.
Or should I just, okay, I'll wait then for that.
Yeah, we're gonna do a call Friday on that, so we can talk about that more then. Has anybody got anything else?
Ken, what's the turnaround time, I guess, to get from point A to B SPC? Is that there is no particular time frame? It's just based on how fast you can put the documents together, then get them out and record it and stuff like that. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, there's no real time limit.
Hey, Ken.
Yep.
Yeah, I had something else too. I know you had mentioned before that, you use Pima County because they'll file anything. But I was willing to experiment because, I'm still waiting on that FGTEIN to finish the non-UCC stuff. And I was considering trying to file with my county clerk or recorder to see if they would file my stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't care where you put it on the record. Like Fremont County, Colorado does it. But I just know Pima works, so I don't know, I got sick of fucking around with it, so I just I just used Pima County, but there's a whole pile of counties that'll do it.
Okay.
So whatever, I mean, whatever you can get, if you can get a county to put it on the record, then just go ahead and do that. I'm from Wisconsin. They won't put shit on the record. So
That
I
sucks.
put it on the record with Pima County, then I sent it to Wisconsin and I showed it to them on the record in Pima County and told them that they had to register it in 72 hours or I was taking them to a higher court.
Did they
And
follow through with it?
the lawyer I sent it to was like an old family friend. Yeah, that's right. I'm an asshole. But anyway, it was funny.
That's funny.
Some days it doesn't
Okay.
pay to be on the opposite side of the street is me. Anyway, yeah, I mean it's up to you. Whatever you need to do, whatever makes sense to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Go ahead, Betty.
I have another question.
Yep.
So I sent a while ago, I sent my UCC one and they rejected it. I don't know why.
Where did you send it?
To my, to my, I live in North Carolina, so the Secretary of State.
Yeah, go to
so what do I do there? I want to do the
New York.
SPC.
New York
Oh,
will
you
put it
just
on the
put it on the-
record. South Carolina.
Okay,
It doesn't matter what state you use. Florida will do it. Georgia will do it. You just want to stay in your region.
okay.
Yeah. So if you're in North Carolina, I would go, I would stick around like, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, somewhere in there.
Okay. Another question, if I want to do the SPC process with you, should I just wait until I can buy you and then you do it, or can I just do it? Or I mean,
I would recommend to pay the 500 and
okay,
have us do it
okay,
and mail the stuff off because that way you learn a little bit about it while you're having us do it.
okay. All right. Thank you. That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Just on that note, Kent, the North Carolina thing, I was researching possibly in the near future doing, business in North Carolina and trying to get all my back covered with doing the correct filings. In North Carolina, they actually require that you register with some association before you can file anything with that state. So they have like a whole another thing that you got to go through just to file, from what I read on their website.
Yeah, there's just some states it's not worth the effort. Like
No,
California.
it looked like a headache.
Yeah, California is not even worth doing it. Just pick another state. Go to Washington. Washington State's good if you're out west. Colorado. If you're in the Midwest, I've used Wisconsin, Iowa, and Missouri quite often. I wouldn't do anything in Illinois. Texas isn't bad. New York is pretty easy. Their online thing kind of sucks. So you got to mail it in. But
Yep.
you can do it in New York. That's not a big pain. I just did a bunch of them up there last week. And so it's, there's just a few states, but you just want to stay in the region. But the most important, all the UCC one, all you're doing is plugging holes. The non-UCC is what gives you power over your labor credits. That's what's so important, is that you in the private claim your labor credits. That way nobody else can. So the non-UCC is the most important one.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Ken,
Yep.
on the so you recommend filing the UCC one in New York by mail, just mailing it to them rather than doing it online?
Yeah, because they won't do that UCC 3 or that ad or anything online. They'll only do the one, and you can only do 2 debtors. And it's just, I mean, you can do like the initial one online, but everything after that you got to do by mailing it in.
Yeah, so you might as well just do it all one shot, just mail it in.
Yeah, are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I went right to Albany and did it.
Yeah, that's like a 3-hour drive for me.
Yeah, I know it's a pain in the ass, but
Yeah, no, I'd just rather mail it. Listen, $9 per priority mail gets it there.
yep, no problem.
Hey, just a quick question on the non UCC on the bottom, number 8, optional file data, like it says 14th Amendment, PL 79-21, blah blah blah, and then it goes Miller, and then it gets cut off.
Yeah,
What's the rest of that stuff that has to be underneath there?
it's the Miller Act.
It's the Miller Act, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yep. Yeah, I don't know what else is on there. I mean, I just put in there what else is, what Pat had in. I mean, if there's other
Right.
things that you can, it's just reference data.
Yeah, just right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not really like crucial. So
Because Paul Michael, I think, went over it, and he was saying some other things, Baby Act, and other things.
yeah, there's a Baby Act thing, and you can put a lot of more stuff in there, but it's just like all you're doing is put some reference data in there so they know where you're getting your info from.
Oh, okay. But we can add to. I guess it gets cut off anyway. It doesn't. You can't add more to it.
Yeah. Add what you
All right.
can. Yep.
Appreciate it.
I got another question.
Yep.
You were talking about the recording all the papers in Pima County, and then you went to Wisconsin. Is that optional, or because I'm in California, so it's going to
Okay,
be
so what I was doing there is because I got rejected by my home state,
okay.
I was being an asshole. And so I put it on the record in another state, and then I sent it to that old school family lawyer who's the lawyer for the corporation of my county. And I was just kind of being an asshole to him because they wouldn't put it on the record for me. And it's the allodial title on my body. Right. And
Okay, so it's already recorded and it's done.
it's recorded in Pima County, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so once it's there. Okay. And then like for court cases, you can just refer them to the docket in Arizona.
Yeah. You just
Because
put docket number in there. You just put Pima County,
okay.
Pima County, Arizona, docket number XYZ. And that's what I do. Like when I do court papers and stuff, I'll just reference that in there like that.
Right, that way then they know that they can't use your commercial name and okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I had a question about the silver bond. Is that something that we should do?
Eventually. It's expensive because it's about $600 in silver.
Okay.
It's $21 in silver, but silver Morgans are $35 a piece, so it ends up being about $600.
Okay. And so we could do that perhaps in mentorship or like right after around that time?
Yeah,
Like
you can do it anytime. It really doesn't matter when you do it. I did it the way I did it because I had a pending court case, so I was just kind of testing it out. And I don't know, I haven't really been arrested, but I really haven't been told that it stopped me from getting arrested. So I don't know. I know that I've been pulled over quite a few times. And like they've run my record and let me go. I got pulled over once in Oregon, and the cop came up to the car and he apologized for pulling me over, and he said, "Mr. Stark, is there anything else that I can help you with?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." And he goes, "Okay, I just want to make sure that I've done my job for you." So that's the kind of stuff that when you do this and you do it right and you act right, here's what you don't do. You don't get a vehicle, not pay the insurance and registration, throw a DOT plate on it, put the DOT number in your name, and then go drive around. Okay, that is not even close to what you do. So if you want to remain in honor, the first thing you have to do is get an MCO on your vehicle. Okay, the next thing that you have to do is get an insurance bond. I wrote my own bond, but you can also contact your state and get them to write you a bond. And then the next thing you have to do is have a foreign trust executed And then once you have a foreign trust executed, then you can get the DOT number in your foreign trust name using your 98 EIN, and then you can get a plate made with that DOT number. If you do that process, like I explained to you, they will run your DOT number, they will see you're a foreign trust, and they will not pull you over. Okay. If you be shady and sketchy and get 15 speeding tickets, lose your license, and then put a DOT plate on your car, you're going to go to jail. There's a guy that I talked to that lives up in Albany, New York, that got a felony. So, like, I'm just recommending, just don't do this stuff half-assed. Like, learn the process, learn what it means, especially you folks in here that are come from a different country. You have no reason to register anything. Use your foreign trust, put everything on your foreign trust. You're from a foreign country. Get a DOT number on your foreign trust. And then when you get pulled over, you use your passport, your foreign passport, and you'll never get a ticket. But once you get in the jurisdiction, you get registration and plates and all that crap, you're screwed, because you're agreeing to be a part of their system.
When you got pulled over from that cop that was being, he was like, anything else I could help you with, were you using your DOT plates then?
No.
Oh, okay.
All he saw was my list of fees.
The list of fees. Okay.
So Kent, on that note, we should rescind all of those licenses and registration, everything we have as part of the process. Or
Not
no?
until you get an
Because it did-
MCO.
Yeah, because it didn't seem as though Pat did that. It seems like he
Right,
was.
but Pat got arrested and Pat got his shit impounded.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm telling you from experience, I'm not using any names, but I was just dealing with an individual that this all got upside down. And I was telling her and I was explaining this to her, and she got her vehicle impounded. And you just got to you have to do it right. What I do when I travel across country, I don't play these bullshit games. I bought a Prius. I paid cash for it. Okay. I put it in my revocable statutory trust, and I got regular license plates and registration on it. Okay. It's owned by the trust. It's insured by the trust. Okay. So it's trust property. They can't impound it. Okay. But it's legal. And so when you're driving across country, it is not worth the bullshit. Just have a legal vehicle in your revocable trust, which I teach this in the mentor program. You get a vehicle in the revocable trust, right, that has a regular license plate on it and regular insurance, and you use that to communicate, to run across country. It's not worth going across to Illinois and getting impounded and thrown in jail in a state that you're 10 states or 5 states away from your home. Now, if you're in your house, you're living at home, right? Like I'm in Georgia, and you do this, you use the DOT plate and you get a vehicle with an MCO and all that stuff, right? And you're just like within a couple hours of your house, not a big deal. But when I'm going across country, my shit's on trust property. And I don't even get pulled over. And when I do get pulled over, they don't mess with me. And some of this stuff, I get it, right? Right to travel and all that stuff, but it's just not worth it. It's just not worth trying to drive 5 states across the country on a DOT plate, And I know tons of people that have DOT plates that are legal in New York State. New York State's a big pain in the ass about this. I know a ton of people that do that. One of the ladies is our consultant. Her name is Diane. She's the one that I'm getting set up with, Betty. And she came from Venezuela, and she's done all this. She's the one that taught me how to do all this private plate stuff. You don't put private on it. You don't put sovereign on it. You don't put any of that crap on it. You just put a DOT number on it. You get a white license plate with a black DOT number. And it just says not for hire, private on the top. Just the really small letters, private, not for hire. And it doesn't have a bunch of garbage on it. It's not a bunch of fancy colors or like a black plate. You know that there's only like 2 states that have black plates. So when you do a black plate, it's just going to stand out like a sore thumb. And then the other thing that I do is I get one of those smoke covered plastic things over it. So it's just kind of like, it's, you just don't want to be noticeable. The one that I have on my BMW, the one in Georgia, I never get pulled over. The local cops, local anybody, nobody messes with me. They don't pull me over. They don't mess with me at all. And when they do, if I ever do get pulled over, the only thing they want to know, can I see your driver's license?
Do you have a driver's license?
Well, I didn't think I did, but I got pulled over in Virginia, and they ran it, and they came back. They're like, they ran my passport card, and they came back, and they're like, you have a valid Georgia driver's license. And I was like, okay. And so I looked it up, and in Georgia, you can look it up online. It says valid. And I have like 15 tickets in Georgia, but I rescissioned them all. I rescinded them all. I have this whole process of rescissioning tickets. And I had like 2 disorderly conducts and all kinds of stuff in Georgia, and it all got tucked under the rug. Like it didn't even get dismissed. It's like it never happened. Right. And so with as many tickets as I have in Georgia, I shouldn't have a license in Georgia, but I do. Valid. So, and I rescissioned it. I sent paperwork in to resend my Georgia driver's license. They don't do it. And with me, they had an excuse to take my license away, and it's still valid. So I don't know what the answer is, but it's kind of weird that I have all these tickets and a valid driver's license, and every time I get pulled over, they run my name and I have a valid license. So
I recall hearing something, and that was that no matter where you have your driver's license, they all hook up to New York. And if you don't rescind them in one place, you still have it on record there. So someone made the suggestion that you just send it there as well if you're going to rescind it. So I don't know.
I did
how
5
true that
states.
is.
I rescinded it in 5 states. I did Colorado, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Illinois, Georgia. So it's like 5 or 6 states I rescinded it. And in all the other states, it's gone except for Georgia. And I don't know why. I don't really care. You know, I still drive on a passport card, and when they, I don't know. They just, I mean, anymore, I just drive 5 under the speed limit, and I obey all the traffic laws. I don't get pulled over. And it's just, I got bigger fish to fry. I'm just not playing games with I'd rather get into all this and buy a new car with my trust than try and fight with the cops on the street about a license plate. Just get an honor, and that's the problem is the people that are doing this and doing it wrong, they're doing it wrong because they're not honorable.
Yeah,
they got a revoked license because they're a drug addict or because they're an alcoholic. And then they're trying to like do stupid shit with this, and they ended up getting jammed up. So
do you know any foreign nationals that have like a 4 or 5-star passport? Seems like to not be a
mine's
thing.
a 4. Hold
But
on.
foreign national meaning like not born in the US?
Maybe she stole it.
Because
Yeah,
it's like we can't when we do FOIA, it comes back with 100 pages of things that we've given them, and so we can't use FOIA to send in with the DS-11. And so
So
anyone that I've known, like
there's a
they get
link
a
on my
3 star.
website, and it's
Mm-hmm.
for copper still mill mines, copper stills, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just follow that and do what he tells you to do, and you'll get a 4 or 5 star passport. Mine's a 4 star,
Okay.
you know.
Right.
I was a US citizen, so generally a US citizen has a 1 star and mine's a 4. So you have an advantage by coming here from another country, as you're not a US citizen yet. So you can
Right,
just,
but apparently when you naturalize that way, again, at least through FOIA, it's like, well, you can't say that you didn't know what you were doing, because here we have your birth certificate, your children's name and social, like everything. They pull every file from your first entry in the United States. They have all in a record, like your marriage license, everything, things like that. So I haven't met anyone who was born overseas with anything higher than a 3 star.
yeah. Well, you just got to go through the process. There's nothing really that you can do about it. I mean, other than like try the different processes. I got really upset about it when I was trying to get a 5 star passport, and then I just like got over it and went to something. The thing is for me is that like buying houses and cars and getting my needs taken care of was a much bigger issue than a passport. So once you like get through a lot of these processes, your passport's going to be fine. There's nothing you can do. You apply for it and they're going to give you what you can give you, and you can't contest it.
So the question is, what is the significance of 1 star versus another?
1 star is US citizen, and it means you're the least most threatening. And 5 stars means US national and you are the most threatening.
Okay.
So I don't know.
You're not detained.
I watched this thing. I watched these videos and whatever where people are like crossing hairs over this crap. And it's just like, it's like this thing where you're like, am I doing the right process? And is my passport reflecting the process I'm doing? Nothing has anything to do with that. The number of stars on your passport has to do with how much they think you're a threat to the nation, an enemy of the state. A 1 star is a very small enemy of the state, but still an enemy of the state. And a 5 star passport is a big enemy of the state. I'm 4, so I'm not like the worst enemy, but I'm pretty bad. So that's all it is. And it has nothing to do with any paperwork you do or anything. Like you can't like manipulate something so that you get 5 instead of 1. Right? So my opinion is you do the SBC process, you get all set. There's one guy that told me he said the only status correction that you need to worry about is going from being an enemy of the state to not being an enemy of the state. You're going to be whatever you're going to be, but just like if you start reporting to the IRS and the Treasury properly, then you won't be an enemy of the state anymore. So that's what it is. An enemy of the state tries to rip off the IRS. A non-enemy of the state reports properly all of the IRS documents. So once you get in honor and you're reporting properly, you're going to be able to do that Christina stuff and get 250 grand in your checking account. You're going to be able to do all that. The only reason they don't do that is because they think you're an enemy of the state. So you have to get in honor. I just got out of bankruptcy. I'm not in honor yet. So I have to do a lot of things to get in honor. So that's why I'm working with the IRS to do all that. And that's why I call my mentor program Friends of the IRS. Because I want to do it right, and I want to teach you all to do it right.
And when you do your passport, that copper stills method, do you send the original birth certificate?
Yeah, get an original birth certificate and send it.
Not like with all the certifications on it, like when you get it all certified, authenticated?
No, just get a regular birth certificate. I sent them 3 copies of my like old birth certificate, And I sent them all kinds of stuff, and then they sent a letter back saying they needed 5 proofs of ID. So I sent them back all these proofs of ID, and then they sent me another passport.
Oh, okay. So how many authenticated birth certificates do we need? I have one. I only
One. You
requested-
only need
oh,
one.
one. No,
Yeah.
I have 2. Okay, so all right.
Good.
I know we keep going back and forth, but it's just trying to understand the whole
No, you're fine.
process. Yeah. So basically, when you revoked your driver's license, you didn't really revoke it, right? Like pulled it
Well,
out.
I revoked it. They
Oh,
didn't.
you revoked it. They did. But you're driving on you're just giving your passport as identification.
Yeah, I
Passport
show them the
card.
passport, but then they run my name and they find the Georgia driver's license and they say, "Oh,
Right.
you're valid in Georgia."
Right. So the best thing to do is to be an honor to put your stuff in a trust and then operate, license and driving in your car as in a trust rather than registering it and everything else, basically. Like use a license plate instead of a DOT plate or
Yeah.
do both.
I use a license plate for traveling across the country. I use a DOT
Right,
plate
that's what
for
you said,
running
and
around
DOT.
town.
Okay. So you do both. You have one for one,
Yep.
one for the other.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to. I'm not wild guy. I don't drive. I try to keep under the speed limit and whatever. So I'm just trying to see what's the best way to do and not get pulled over. So stay in honor. Let's try to do
Yeah,
it.
well,
Safe.
yeah, to stay in honor and learn how to talk right. Like watch videos and see people that get let go by police, how they talk to the police. "Hello, sir, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know why I pulled you over tonight? "No, sir, I do not."
Yeah.
You were driving too fast. "Okay, can I see your vehicle registration?" This vehicle is owned by a trust and it's on an MCO. And then you present the MCO, right? And then
Right.
when it says, "Can I see your insurance?" You say, "I have a bond registered with the state. Here's the bond." Right?
Right. Okay.
You just act the same way you would act normally, but you present your proper information.
Right.
And you don't get into it. You don't get into it quoting all kinds of stupid bond shit and
Yeah, I have the right to travel.
talking about right to travel shit. They don't give a fuck
I know.
about that.
I've seen so many videos of that. I'm like, these cops, they don't know. I mean,
Or
it's just
care.
or care. They're just like,
Here's what I do.
This is over.
When I was in Wyoming, this is what I did. He pulled me over. He says, "You made an illegal left turn or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, I'm just making you aware that I do not wish to contract with you and I do not give you consent." And he was like, "Fine." So he handed me the tickets and he went back to his car, and then I rescissioned him and I never heard another thing from him. So that's how you can do it. But don't say, "Oh, right to travel, XYZ." Like, don't do that crap. Because here's the thing, is that if you're trying to be private, the second you quote law, you're in the public. Because all laws, rules, and regulation are commerce.
Yeah, commerce. You're right. Right. So what do you sign? Some people say sign the tickets, VC, under duress, or or like Vincent, like say Vincent, DBA, Vincent, um, / agent, something like that, or beneficiary or something. I don't know. I don't know if you need to do all
Oh,
that.
I don't sign tickets. If they say you need to sign this ticket, I say no contract.
Yeah.
You want to hand them to me, I'll rescission them, but I'm not signing them.
Right. You don't sign anything, right?
No, I don't sign anything.
So once you sign, you're putting yourself in their jurisdiction.
Yeah, there's a video out there, and it ends with Pat Devine, but it's another guy that's like talking 15 minutes into the beginning of it. I think I have it on the website. If not, just let me know and I'll send it to you. And it's like 15 minutes of this guy telling you how to deal with being arrested. And the main thing he says is don't put the jumpsuit on.
Okay.
because the jumpsuit is acquiescent jurisdiction. You know, so it's just like, you just got to learn this stuff and you got to know how to do it. But the main thing is just to be smart and talk right from the beginning. Don't be quoting a bunch of laws. Don't be like,
Be
I saw
respectful.
people talking about, oh, I know what you're doing. You're gonna get you're gonna file a 25 and a 25A bond against me. Like, they don't even know what that is. They don't even care. You know, they just want to write a ticket so they can get a Vataboy from their chief. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Make
Right.
that
So let
quota.
them write the ticket and rescission it. Like, it's not
Right.
it's not genius, you know, but you put one of those stupid plates on, he pulls over, you start cussing him out at the window. He gives you 50 fucking tickets. You lose your license. You end up going to jail. Some people end up catching felonies. Then what?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. All right. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. All right. So, anybody else got anything? We've been doing this about an hour.
Ken, are you going to put this video, record this video, put
Yes,
it in
it's
the
recorded
website?
and I'm going to edit it tonight and try and get it up there tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Any last minute requests?
Ken, thank you very much. Much appreciated all the information that you put out and all the efforts you put into you and your staff. I really appreciate them and you for helping us out in this situation and putting us on the right track. Just want to say thank you once again.
Yep. You're very welcome.
I agree. We appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you very
You're
much.
very
for
much
coming.
appreciated.
Yep.
Thank you, Ken.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Much
you.